Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Tiabu and I am here for Retro Monday OVAdrive. Thank you for joining me as we drag something out of the distant past of anime, which is not that distant, but hey, for a youngster like myself, yeah, it's pretty old. It's pretty old stuff we got here. Today I didn't know what I was gonna watch, but then I realized that my download speeds for just torrenting stuff have been ridiculously low, as of my upload speeds for actually uploading videos and stuff. I'm currently uploading the last episode of Dorohedoro, and it's gonna take fucking forever because I don't know. Internet's been all whack for the entire week, and I think about 2 weeks now. I think it has something to do with everybody being home and stressing the servers via coronavirus stuff, but I don't know. So I decided not to download something new, and instead to download to just watch the first episode of one of the things that I already have downloaded. Luckily, I have a few things downloaded, and I went back and forth on what to watch, but I eventually decided that we're gonna watch Genocyber or Genocyber. I genuinely do not know how it's actually supposed to be pronounced, so please don't crucify me for not knowing how it's going to be pronounced. Hopefully we'll actually get somebody in the show saying the word at some point early on, so that I actually know how to say it. Because otherwise I'm going to be saying Genocyber, and that sounds weird. So, I've heard a little bit about this show. It's got 5 or 6 OVA episodes. I just closed my window where I could actually see. 5. It's got 5 total episodes. The first one is like 45 minutes. The rest are all 20-ish minutes. And then the last one is 30 minutes. So they're kind of all over the place, but the first one is the longest. And from what I know, is also the most like coherent and probably the best of the bunch. What I know about Genocyber is just like broad reputation fringy stuff. I've heard that it's kind of legendary in its own kind of weird way for being incredibly gory and not very good. But I've also heard that like the first parts of it have some interesting ideas going on and maybe it could be an interesting thing, but the later parts are maybe not so great. So if we get totally sucked in by episode 1 and we desperately need more Genocyber, then maybe we'll watch more of it. But for now, I just want to dip my feet in and actually see what this weird thing that I've heard of in the past is and how we feel about it. So we're gonna watch episode 1 of Genocyber, and we'll just wing it from there and see if we ever want to watch any more of it, or if we feel like, okay, we got a taste of this at its best, we're done for now. We'll just leave this in the bin of stuff that I don't really care to finish. But hey, maybe it'll be mind-bogglingly awesome and good. I kind of doubt it, given that it gets thrown around in conversations along things like MD Geist. It seems like one of those shows that's gonna be a little shit. Hopefully it'll be shitty enough that we can laugh at it, or it'll be surprisingly actually good, the way that Cyber City 808 was like fantastic. To note, or to wit, I will be watching more Kawajiri shows in the future, just not right now because I can't fucking download any of them because it's so slow. I would be here all day. I've already been here all day. I would be here even longer, and I wouldn't even get to record it and upload it today. It would suck. So I'll plan ahead and use the entire week that I have to download some other shows that I've got some more options coming into next Monday, and we'll actually be able to have a choice of things to watch. But for now, I think that watching this is probably fine and good and maybe enjoyable to some people. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a watch. I didn't even look up the date. I do know that it's Ohata Koichi who directing. Who's the same guy who directed MD Geist, which is it doesn't give me a lot of hope, let's say. It doesn't give me a ton of hope, but this was in 94, and Geist was in... Where's Sokihei MD Geist? This is 94, Geist was 86. Alright, well, he's had almost a decade to hone his talent, and become a better director, so maybe this will be great. It's an Art Mic production from 94, right? That's what I said. Alright, that doesn't tell us much. Let's dive in and see how weird this is. I've got episode 1 of Genocyber up and ready to go. I don't know if I'm going to need to censor any of it. I'll hope not. But I've got it up. It's ready to go. It's sitting at 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions of this reaction, as usual. You can find a picture-in-picture version with the video up there, linked in the description, and a timer-based version up on YouTube. If you would like to do a syncy thing, for whatever reason, and sync up your own copy of Genocyber, assuming that you have the wherewithal to actually go and download it right now, I'm using the SSP Corp rip. I don't know if there was another one. It's been a while since I downloaded this, but that's the one I've got. But you can totally sync that one up with the YouTube video if that's what you want to do, and just get your copy ready, because the beep beep timer to count you down to 0 will be coming at you now. 45 minutes of 1994 anime. Let's go. Weep. All right, somebody's clickety-clacketing. Oh. Yeah. I'm sure that the dub is real bad, which would probably be fun. All right, so we got the scientist doctor guy who's probably about to get killed by his own creation because he's making a thing. Bye. Oh, fuck. What are we building? What are we witnessing? Also, these subs, just the font on them, is rough. There's another sub track. I'm gonna switch to it because it's SRT subs instead of VOB subs. I don't know. Maybe that will be less ugly. All right, we got our title drop. A new life form. Okay. International photo. Aikawa Noboru. That's not who was listed. It was Aikawa Sho. Oh, he was born Noboru Aikawa. He changed his name. Huh. Today I learned. And these are real photos, right? Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Gives us a grounded start. Resolution of the Mideast question. This came out in 94, so we're shortly after Desert Storm. Shinji Aramaki as a producer. It's Ohata, I believe? Yeah, it's Ohata, not Ohato. They got some of these names wrong. That's okay. Hong Kong, early 21st century. So kind of now. We're going for a Gitsy vibe. Never mind, no we're not. Script at what? Oh. Oh. Okay. I assume hello main character boy? The kid who just got the shit beat out of him on the ground. Yeah, go find some tail. Fuck off. I'm just gonna lay here in the middle of this abandoned, demolished lot and think about my life. That's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. Visions of a mother who is no longer there? Well, that's weird looking. Okay. It's a really high fidelity pencil or charcoal drawing. Whoa, yeah. That's rather interestingly put together. Okay. Oh, there's a dead man next to you. And how did you get here? What? 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 Fucking Naruto character. Okay, real world photos. So we're talking about consolidation of forces into the UN, essentially. All right. Oh, Jesus. Well, there's our first Gory-ness. That's kind of weird. Thank you, exposition box. Oh, okay. Okay, we've seen this before. Come on, we just watched Bubblegum Crisis. We know who the bad guys are. It's that corp. It's definitely not Genom Corp. He's got some ESP shit. Welcome to Science Lab. I wonder which of these characters matters. All right. And we're in POV because... Oh, that's why. Oh, boy. Oh, no. Yep, she's an Esper, and she's gonna murder you. And she's floating. Running time? Oh. What? Did tentacles just come out of that tennis ball? Mm-hmm. I mean, with a face like that, it's not like he's doing any evil stuff. Come on. Uh-huh. Murder is about to walk into their room, isn't she? Murder has arrived. Oh, fuck. Were those just mental images? Yeah, okay, so she can just implant images of horror. Don't you talk to my protege Esper murderer ever again. Okay. So we come up cold. Some kind of restraint? Oh, it is. Is that the girl that she dropped in the hallway? Oh, she's Elaine. I see. So she's a runaway. Birth of a new life form, right? Oh. Oh, and we get to see the x-ray through it. That's actually really cool. And she is wearing her necklace. Oh. I don't like the way that we did that. That was That was kind of gross. Who the fuck are y'all? Oh, hi. She really does look like a Naruto character. Which one? Who does she look like? She looks like somebody. Hey, and they're in a Chinese restaurant for dim sum. Oh, it's Hong Kong, right? But they are there for dim sum. If you've never had dim sum, you're missing out. Oof. Hmm. It's like Omega brunch. It's the best. All right, what is going on now? That's a dude wearing hands with filters all over it. Okay. Oh, she just howls like a fucking wolf. Okay. So we've got our big evil megacorp, we've got a runaway girl who's an Esper from it, who was not raised normally at all, and... Alright. Okay. We're doing some relationship building stuff. Yeah, sure. Sure, I'm sure that nothing will happen to break up this little wholesome duo that we've got now, that the evil corporation is actually after this girl. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. Hmm. Maybe we should stop abusing our test subjects. Treat them nicely. Okay. Alright. Looks like our robot girl is going into action. I guess this is our henshin. That kind of looks like the face on the cover, but not quite. What is this? What? Okay, so the investigators just happen to get on the case. And she thinks that she looks like... That's some crazy luck, but okay, sure. And the city's shaking. And these are photos again. Oh, shit. Get everybody in the city looking for her. Alright, that's the fuckboy who was beating up our kid, right? Photos again. I can't tell whether we're trying to be artsy or save budget. Probably save budget. No, dude, he's hanging out with a chick. Little buddy's got game. And there's a problem. Oh no. Oh no. This is gonna go in our rapey direction, and I have a feeling they're gonna go in an ESP explodey direction. Did the other one's control just kick in? She doesn't speak so far. Uh-oh. Yeah. What? 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 Good. Oh. Fair question. Fair answer. Okay. Nope. That doesn't seem like restraint. Bringing the kid with her. Oh, and they're on the case too. And she's a weird cyborg thing. Oh, Jesus. Wait, she ported. And that took a lot out of her. This is kind of interesting. Wow, just standing guard. That's actually ridiculous. Ow. Little buddy might have just gotten knocked out. Of course. Oh wow, they murdered everybody on the train. Bring the kid. Alright, so we're going Romeo and Juliet. I think he's getting his brain fucked with. Oh, it's a bug. It's a still image, real life image of a bug. Ah! Alright, that's a stuffed animal, I think. Oh my god. Okay, so they got away with the boy. So they just kidnapped the kid. Great. He's had a terrible couple of days. Okay. Okay, she doesn't want to do it. It's all about him. Cool lightning strike. Okay. I wonder if they're actually his biological children and he made them cyborgs, or if he made them. And they just put her in like a normal hospital place? Now, what's his history with all this? Because they were worried about the case that happened like 14 years ago. Yeah. And he was the guy we saw in the video, so something went wrong. Okay, okay, okay. But they weren't. And kept up his research. For unknown purposes, right. So the daughter of the original Morgan. Okay. I'm sure that's what it was. Yeah. Alright. Got ourselves a lone gun detective boy. Trying to do right by the world. This is all instilled vision bullshit, right? Just viscera every. That's unnerving. Is this what haunts his dreams? Yeah. An army of faceless, murderous soldiers. Yeah. This is what haunts him. What keeps him up at night. That would haunt me. But freedom, though. Oh, she's taking control. Oh, he actually does have a faceless army of murder mooks. I have no idea what just happened. Why is she going crazy? This is a track. Oh, they put a roar on top of that. That was cool. Hey, there's some cool stuff happening. This is such an old school soundtrack, and I love it. I love it. Ow. Could you not? Oh, shit. Nice. The power of ESP and get shocked. I'm sure that's not good for your systems. Jesus, the fingers into the shoulders was a lot. Oh, she's actually stopping. She let her go. Hey, that's kind of cool. And who is arriving? Ah, it's the cyborg people. I still don't know what they're about. Ah. Really, Diana? Why? Okay, what is that? Where'd the suit go? Was that somehow metaphorically Elaine's enlightenment? Oh, it's the cyborg people. Looks like you've already done a pretty good job. I'm so confused now. What do the cyborg people want? Oh, he's about to tell us. Ah. Yeah, where'd she go? What did she do? Did she... Did she, like, metaphorically hit enlightenment? Because we had all the Buddhist imagery, and we're calling it Vajra. Oh. Multiple mind shadow? That sounds like some hooby-jooby. Okay. But then... Sounds about right. She just vanished into light. Yeah. Yeah, why did you do that? Just personal jealousy? Pauline's still alive. Somehow. As something. That's your father. Like being in the womb again. He betrayed him. He's got a gun in his pocket. And he already had his army of murder mooks. What am I looking through right now? Twins? Two halves of a person, kind of? Okay. Oh. Romeo. This is some weird shit. But that's Elaine in there. Hello. Maybe close your eyes, bud. Oh, he is overjoyed. And dead. Frankenstein complex, eh? Hell of an explosion. Alright, we got an action track coming back in. Some crazy screamers they've got there. Alright. Fire and death, and in the middle of it all... Oh, they're just chilling. Alright, how did the suit... never mind. It doesn't matter, does it? Oh. Okay, that's not the suit. Okay. That's pretty cool. I guess see ya. Huh? Huh? No. No. Nope. No. That was a cool shot. That's really cool fire. What are you? What are you? Why? It's like Mecha Berserk. Alright, that's pretty cool. Those were some cuts. Just tore her in half. Oh, that's such a cut! What the fuck? We visualize going all the way down through and she tears apart? That's so cool! I've never seen anything quite like that. That's... Alright. Sorry, everybody innocent on that plane. It was a big jet. A lot of passengers. Goodbye. Alright, back to a quiet morning, I suppose. Um... Ah... Oh. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry, what? But the story goes on. I guess she's semi-humanoid now. And Diana lives on within her instead. We're over top of a really grainy photograph, aren't we? And that's our ending line, isn't it? Cut to ED. Oh, this was a weird one. The CD does not fit at all, and I love it. This is really good. I gotta say, it's one thing that I love about the 80s and 90s shows. You might get a shitty show, but you can be almost guaranteed there will be at least one track that is just nice. I think the CD counts. That one track that we got during some of the action sequence, that counts. It's good enough for me. Really, some interesting ideas going on in this one. Execution, not so much. A little rough. It's got the right name on this one for director. it just ends. Okay. Usually there's a little bit of a fade out and I have a moment to get my bearings and stop the video, but nope, it just ends. Wow. This was an experience. I don't know if I was quite ready for it. How do I put this? How do I explain how I feel about it? Or what I think about what we just watched? I'm not sure. I will say that I was expecting it to be worse than what we saw. But there is a significant flaw in the whole thing. And it's not like a plot hole or a problem with production. It comes down to, like, the director's ability to convey what he intends to convey. I'm really not sure what the point of this was supposed to be. And I'm really not sure what the story really was. If we break it down, it kind of comes together. So we've got this organization, the Kyuru, whatever, who are picking up after the original guy who we see in the very intro left off on his crazy super weapons research on some kind of Vajra energy thing, which has roots, at least in terms of what they're naming stuff, Mandala and Vajra, in Buddhism. The Vajra is a weapon used as a ritual object to symbolize both the properties of a diamond and a thunderbolt. Sanskrit word having both meanings. Also a club with a spherical head. Okay. So, that's a thing. It has more to do with Hinduism and reincarnation, which could be part of what we're working with. But I'm going to step back from getting into the weeds because I can sense myself doing it, and instead say that the things that would lead me to get into the weeds are kind of just become a jumbled mishmash mush. I guess all we really need to get is that big organization do bad science thing on two little girls and turn them into super weapon monsters who end up fighting each other. But the problem is it's intending to be deep about it, and I'm not sure along which axis it's attempting to be deep about it. There's an attempt at a metaphorical layer, and I don't think the metaphorical layer makes any sense. Maybe that's just because I'm an idiot American who doesn't actually understand Hinduism at all, or Buddhism for that matter, although I understand it a little bit better than my zero knowledge of the Hindu faith. Which is totally valid, and maybe if I did know what they were actually working with in terms of source material and inspirations, we could work with it. The I was gonna call it a subplot, but then that begs the question, what is the core plot? And I don't know. So I was gonna say the subplot around the boy doesn't really make much sense either. I guess it's she's escaped and has now found something that's actually enjoyable out there in the world, something worth protecting and living for, and so that's her reason for doing the things that she does and for wanting to stay escaped. But then it gets taken away kind of off camera at the end. Like he just dies and he's just dead. And that's it. And we don't really know how he died. I guess yeah, I actually don't know how he died. Or how he got on top of this building. I don't quite understand. I will say the jump to this title card is fantastic. This is one of the most unintentionally amazing things that I've ever seen. Just like fade out, fade in the slow violin piece, and bring up a card that says, mysteriously, an entire city, essentially a city-state nation, just exploded and disappeared. Ta-da! Ridiculous. And then we get this sort of weird pinkish sepia hue, her walking off into the distance that is just strange, and we've got like waves crashing.
It's okay, Diana.
Oh, there's the English audio track.
I'm still here.
Oh boy.
We're alive.
Oh boy. Oh, oh, the dub would have been a fun watch, wouldn't it?
I think it's time I put you out of my misery.
Yep, that's just gold.
And so I don't see no bugs.
They're eating
Fuck out of it.
me in my head.
What bugs?
They're inside me in my head, eating my brain.
Slap the fuck out of it. And so I don't see no bugs.
Oh, that's a whole different experience.
They're eating my brain.
Assistant, Kenneth Reed, became don't you,
Yes.
Diana? A chance to get close to Kuron.
Awesome. I'm sorry for going on that little tangent there, but that is amazing, and I feel like I have to watch this whole thing over again with the dub on, because that's something special. I'm just not used to hearing English dub audio, and it's weird. There are a lot of confusing things in this one episode of an OVA. The frequent use of real world images as backgrounds, and then these almost photorealistic, I think they're charcoal drawings, but I'm not quite sure. They're made to look like really old photos, but I think that they're drawings, are just weird and strange, and kind of a jarring transition from the more normal, in big air quotes, sequences that we get. We get all kinds of weird psychological experiences that don't actually happen, like this whole Gory sequence when he just like walks away, fades out, and then we get sort of jump scared by a group of the murder mooks, and then we enter into this sequence, which doesn't exist and isn't happening. I assume this is all inside the cop guy's head, but we have no idea what his background is, or why he's got PTSD around this shit, or what. Maybe he was affected in the 14 years ago experiment somehow, and his brain's been all fucked up, and that's why he wants to do it. But I don't know, because the story doesn't tell me. He knows about the experiment from 14 years ago, but mostly it's just used to exposit information about that to us, the audience. We don't know what his stake in this thing is at all. So instead, we get a trippy-ass dream sequence where he's running down a hallway that's plastered with body parts and limbs, while a nurse just sort of casually decapitates herself because gravity. Yeah, alright, sure. Why not? Yeah, totally, sure. And then we wake up with all our guts spilling out, because that happens. What does this do for the story? I don't know. There are a bunch of things like that where it's just like, okay, I don't know why this is here or what this is. And then we get this whole sequence where Diana is getting inside Elaine's head, and we somehow demonstrate that by splitting our image in half and mixing another one in the middle. I guess is artsy. I don't know what the intent is. Is it supposed to be like fractured, the equivalent of a character shattering a mirror to show that they're in conflict with themselves, where we've got a fractured subconscious because of the multiple images blending into one another? Maybe. Loss of identity? Maybe. Cool, sure. But you can, if you want to, you can read all these things into it. It's just nigh impossible to figure out what was intended. Like, what was the intended reading? I don't know. I don't know. At all. All this imagery of these weird, gigantic, monstrous machines is very strange. The cyborgs who are chasing them, we don't really understand what their motivation is. I guess they're an in-house squad that investigates research at the Curie group to make sure it's going okay. It's unclear what happens to Elaine when she sort of ascends here, but just from the imagery, I get strong Buddha hitting enlightenment vibes from this sequence in particular, where she starts to go golden. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not just the reflected light on her. They changed the way that her skin is reflecting light. You can see it on her legs to make it as though she's becoming like a golden statue, which is somehow how the Buddhas are portrayed. And then she sort of fades out into an identityless entity and then disappears into the sky, becoming fire and lightning, and sort of seemingly becoming one with the elements and one with the wind and the world and stuff. But how? And why? And what? So she became so psychically powerful that she eliminated her own existence on our plane, but not really because she lives on inside Diana, and not really because they are kind of one and the same people, which is why we see all the fetuses and the division of them into, I guess, twins, but weird twins, and all this shit. And then all the stuff about mind shadows, which I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to be. Let's see what they called it in the dub. Yeah, alright. Similarly, Elaine's mind shadows amplified Diana's power. What'd you call it in the dub?
But when the second was born, he hit upon the idea of fusing their powers. This would, of course, produce far stronger Vajra energy
We don't talk about the mind shadows at all.
than he had originally hoped to create. Our resources were stretched at the time. Julie.
Wrong, doesn't it?
Her voice is something else. Okay, so they're not calling it mind shadows, so I guess it doesn't matter. Alright, sure, yeah. We can go with that. Weird imagery. This whole, like, in the womb of the thing, and the strange... I guess they look like pictures through a microscope of slides of flesh or cells or something. I don't know. So familiar, so warm, and we find out here in the last moments that he's a bad guy and he betrayed the main guy. Sure. And then in his last moments, he somehow is looking in through the sides of a van. I guess it's got more than one chamber in the van, so he can see through from one side to the other. Looking upon what he has wrought, and emerging from her subconscious is Elaine, who then enunciates out Diana, becomes the cover image of Genocyber, explodes, and he cannot tear his gaze away from this thing that he's created. Although it's killing him, he is weeping tears of joy and thrilled about it as the city fucking explodes. Why do we show that there's a guy taking photos of it in the plane if he's just gonna explode anyway? I don't know. I don't know, man. Alright, so we grow some super awesome Raylight wing things, which I actually think are pretty cool. It's a pretty neat design. And then the cyborg people start transforming. And that's where I think I got my money's worth. Not money, but my time's worth, let's say. I think I got my money's worth out of these couple of horrifying transformation sequences, and then eventually the particular cut that's coming up relatively soon after. The way that her face comes out of her face reminds me strongly of something in particular, and I feel like it's from Berserk. But I'm not sure. I know there's something in some piece of media where a character looks very much like that and like faces out of the face, and it's awful and really horrifying and gross. And kind of bug related as well, but I don't know where it's from. I can't think of it. But I feel like it's Berserk, because that seems like the kind of thing that Miura would draw. But this is actually, like, really good stuff. Like, weird mishmash of biological and mechanical transforming into a strange, horrifying creature that's ripping its own flesh from its body and just... Ugh. Ugh. It's gross. They are gross. And that's pretty cool. Because they're meant to be gross, so it's effective. There's also this sequence where she just flies through a city block and demolishes it because of her speed. There's the whole sequence of almost phoenix-like fire. This sort of flaming dragon, almost, that appears and is roasting the city, which I think is really cool and really well done. And a very, very familiar style of fire. I wonder if I've seen the artist before. I don't know. But then we just go way overboard with it. Like, she starts using a knife mouth thing to skewer her former eye holes, I guess. Where did the other skulls come from? I don't know. She just has a bunch of them. So that's a thing. Does she keep the same voice actress in the dub?
I wanna kill it. I wanna kill it. I wanna kill it.
Fucking A.
Wow, she is bad. Oh, I want to hear that line too.
I'm gonna enjoy sending you to hell.
Oh, they changed that one a lot. Alright. So anyway, they come after her. I like this shot with the plane going by and the sort of spinning off light of the machine gun. It's pretty neat. And you, Omaiwa Mo. Yeah. Alright, so we start just tearing into this creature. And it's horrible, and it's awful. Just tearing her head off and stuff. Ugh. Gross. But then the coolest cut in the episode. Reach inside, grab the sides of this opening we've created, and start tearing it apart. And we dive through it as the split is being created. So we just go past all of this mechanical stuff, and it's just getting shredded and ripped apart. Oh, that's so cool. Why haven't I seen something like that before? That's nice, man. That is nice. All of my time spent on this episode was worth it just for this cut because it's super good. I would love to know who animated that. If you know who animated that, please hit me in the comments because I would be curious to find out. All right, and then we go sad mode with Ghosty Boy, who says the goodbye lines, and then he's dead, and then she explodes the city, but survives. And becomes, again, kind of a phoenix-like shape bursting forth from it, which is pretty neat. There are some fantastic visuals here. There are some weird visuals here. There are some ridiculous things that don't make any sense to me, and I'm kind of okay with that. It's kind of a garbled mess, but it's got its roots in some interesting ideas, and it's trying to portray them in somewhat interesting ways. Sure, yeah, why not? I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised by Genocyber. I still don't know which. It was all right. It was a worthwhile watch, I will say. Definitely had some goofy shit, like the clearly cut out photo of a bug superimposed at half opacity over a guy, and he's just like freaking the fuck out over this static image of a cockroach just chilling there. Oh, and then we transition to like somebody with like a sock puppet on their hand doing stuff with the bug. Actually, I want to see that part again. Hold on. There are a lot of things in this episode that will stick with me. Maybe not in a good way, but they might stick with me. All right, where's the sequence with the bugs and shit? All right, there's that horrifying stuff. There's this horrifying stuff. There's this stuff. They take the boy. When did they start freaking out? No, this is way later. It's way... Oh, here it is. So there's the bug. Yeah, it's you can see where it's been cut out, right? And it's not quite perfect. All right. Yeah. There's a human being's hand inside that thing, I promise you. I don't know what it's moving underneath it. They've just changed the coloration of the whole image so that you really can't tell. But that's a fucking sock puppet. Excellent. So special effects on point, which is crazy because sometimes they actually are. Like the bloody gory stuff in the hallway was on point. The tennis ball at the very beginning when she walks through, and totally scars this girl for life. The tennis ball, like, turning into an eldritch abomination of monstrous teeth and eyes and shit, which looks like eyes on top of a plate of spaghetti, but I'm not sure. Yeah, nice and horrifying. That's real scary. The flaming effects at the end, the big ol' explosions, some of the effects work is really good, and some of it's just like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it this way? I don't know. They clearly had a budget. So I don't know if they're just saving money works. I think it's trying to be artistic about it. And the real world images of locations and outside stuff is probably meant to ground us in reality and be like, oh, this is a real scary thing that could really be happening in our world, but not really. Oh, wow, this is just a weird, confusing thing. But the interesting thing about it is I can't just look at it and go, okay, that was this. I can easily categorize it and just put it away into a corner of my brain and never think about it again. Because it's so weird and off and different and maybe not good, I have to think about it more. I have to actually address it on its own merits and look at it and go, what the fuck were they trying to do? But I think the biggest flaw with it is conveyance. I don't know what they were trying to do. And I think that's the fault of the director in this case, because clearly there were ideas here, and clearly there was some cool production stuff going on here as well. But story-wise, it's kind of a garbled mishmash. And that's okay. Alright, I have no immediate desire to watch more Genocyber. We'll see if that changes next week, but I think this will probably be a one and done, and we'll look for something else to watch next week. So, I've been Tiabu. This has been Retro Monday OVAdrive with Genocyber. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I'm sure that there are people who know way more about the production and, like, purpose and intent of this episode of this show. So if you could share any of that information, that would be really cool. Then I can learn stuff, and that would be really nice. But for now, we will call it quits on Genocyber, and I will hope to see you next week on whatever ridiculous old thing we watch next. See you next week. Peace.